Okay, so here we are, Mark Bichetti and Mike Henderson representing the copywriting agency. And today we're going to talk about what numbers your campaigns need to be hitting in order for your campaigns to be truly scalable. Now, Mike, there are many aspects, many components to a funnel, right?
Yep.
Each part of these funnels needs to be hitting their ideal numbers for the whole thing to be working, for the whole thing to be scalable. So what just right off the top of your head, what are some parts of the funnel that we need to have scaling, hitting high numbers for the whole thing to be scalable?
Sure. Well, as you said, every single part of the funnel matters. There isn't a single part of the funnel that you wouldn't want to be looking at and evaluating how it's performing. But key would be, I guess, your pre-sale page, checkout, how your ads are doing, and even within those individual elements, there are going to be different metrics that you can use. So there's a load of data that you can tap into.
So let's break that down. For instance, Facebook ads. I remember when I first got started in this business for the big markets, finance, health, dating, self-development, it's like you could get 50% click-through rates on your Facebook ads. And nowadays, that's just not the reality for most campaigns. Now, that doesn't mean that we have to have such low expectations, but just to create some parallels, like 20 years ago on cable television, a good rating for professional wrestling was 6.0, over 10 million, 12 million people watching. Now in 2020, a good rating is 2.0, or about 2.5 million people watching. So the market has adjusted to the exposure, to the inundation of content. There's so much content out there that it's much more difficult to get people's attention, to keep their attention. So on Facebook ads, if you're hitting like a 1-2% level click-through rate, that's bad. That's not what we would consider scalable. But if you can get to 7 to 10%, or even a little bit better than that, like 11, 12, 13, 14%, that in this day and age is considered scalable. But there are that's the constant. What are the variables? The variables are the amount of money you're paying for ads and the quality of traffic that you're getting. So the other aspect of getting a good CTR is getting good Facebook metrics, likes, comments, shares, because then you get served the better traffic for less money and you're getting a good CTR, right?
Yep.
So that's what we look for on like Facebook ads. What about what are some interstitial pages between a Facebook ad and a pitch page?
Yeah, between the Facebook ad and the sales page, or you get taken to say some kind of infomercial, advertorial. Typically.
Advertorial, a quiz,
maybe,
a lead magnet, webinar registration page. There's lots of different things that you can do to test against versus really just sending people directly to your pitch page.
Yeah, what the offer is, how much value you actually need to provide before you get people interested in what you're doing. So it depends, as we say, on the actual product and the market that we're dealing with.
Correct. So one of the reasons why we use interstitial pages instead of just sending people from like Facebook ad to pitch page, like a VSL, a webinar, a sales letter, some sort of pre-sell. So a pre-sell meaning they have to click one more time to get to the checkout page. Why do we use these interstitial pages? Well, first of all, just getting a click doesn't mean that it is your best prospect. So one of the things that we do to get the Facebook algorithm clearer on who your audience is and what kind of audience you want is like a quiz. So if you can get people from a Facebook ad selling the quiz to click to the quiz, then get them to fill out that quiz now, and then they need to submit their email for the results, then they get the results in their email and they get sent redirected to your sales page. So what this does is get people more in the buying state of mind. I've had tremendous success with quizzes, not only in terms of conversions, but in terms of bringing the CPAs down, the cost per acquisition.
Yeah.
A quiz, because they're so engaging and can get so many positive metrics, can bring your CPAs way down. So you're obviously, it's money in, money out. You want low CPAs and high cart values. So we test those different interstitial pages to see, advertorials. Sometimes advertorials, and depending on the networks that you're going to be creating to use exposure, sometimes advertorials are a good way that in the middle step between a Facebook ad and your main pitch page. And you want to have higher metrics on those. So, it's like on a quiz, I've had over 50-60% engagement in various markets, especially in female markets, 40-50 plus. Way less the millennials and the know-it-alls of these last few generations. So the metrics on those, we want high conversion rate on those, because
especially now,
once we get,
well, people have got more time, but there's a ton of that kind of stuff around, and probably more opportunities for quizzes and things where people can delve a bit deeper, get some
well, let's just say, like you got this many impressions, this many click-throughs to that interstitial page. Now you want to be converting on that interstitial page about that much. You don't want to see these steep declines, decline. You need to hold that audience on your interstitial page. That's why it's there. If it doesn't achieve that, then it's not working. Again, that's one of the stats that we're always looking at to see whether something's effective or it needs to be replaced or eliminated. And then we get to the front end sales. So like a sales letter, a webinar, a VSL, some sort of front end presentation. We want to have, I like having 4 to 6% front end conversions as a scalable point. So in other words, out of all the people that have been funneled to that page, so obviously we need lots of people coming in to be funneled down, which gets easier and easier as, I'm just using Facebook as an example, as Facebook gets to know your campaign, as your pixel gets fired and learns what is and isn't working. So getting a 4 to 6%, go ahead.
No, nothing.
So getting a 4 to 6 conversion rate on that on your front end is considered scalable. Now, and doing that for a lot of, it's also getting your EPCs up. Like if you're in affiliate networks, like right now, a $1-2 EPC is considered good. Our campaigns get anywhere from $6 to $10 EPCs. So earning per click. So we want to make sure that all of those stats are up, because you want as many different networks and ways of getting exposure that are viable and convert. Then we get to our checkout page. Now the checkout page is extremely important because a lot of people don't know how to deal with the bounce rate on a checkout page. So let's say 100 people clicked through from your pre-sale page, your sales letter, your VSL, your webinar, whatever commercial form that you're using to get them to that checkout page, whatever pre-sale form you're using to get them to the checkout page. You want at least 30% of the people who click over to your checkout page to purchase. If you have over a 70% bounce on your checkout page, something's wrong, something's off. Yeah. And there's a hole in a hole. There's a hole in the hole. You're taking on water and you're sinking, and you're not going to be able to scale until you patch that hole and make sure that you're maintaining 30 and above % conversions on your checkout page. And there's lots of different ways to test different checkout page styles: video, no video, testimonials, no testimonials, one-click upsells, one-click ticks instead of going to a upsell page, but just having a tick, like for instance, for the structured silver. It's great. We sell it for yeast infections. Well, if you're in a relationship, you can spread yeast infections back and forth. So having a couple bundle, one-click tick on the checkout page could end up adding another $100 to the AOV, to the cart value, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
not only do we want high checkout rates on the checkout page, but we also want to test the checkout page for getting those instant upsells, something to add value to our cart values so that we are having way less money in and much more money out.
So when I look at checkout pages, I see so much variety. It makes me wonder how, I mean, to start off with, what are you thinking when you go about designing a checkout page? Let's just try a few different things out and see what works.
Clean,
yeah,
clean, bright, branded, hopefully a face and voice talking people like one of my checkout pages doing really well. Hey, thank you so much. You're exactly where you need to be right now. And I'm so happy that you've been inspired to follow through on blah, blah, blah. You know, make sure that you're giving them that dopamine rush so that they feel validated in their purchase, and it's not frivolous. It's not something I don't need. It's not something I don't need to be spending money on. You're meeting those objections, because that's why people are clicking off.
Yeah.
Or at least one of the reasons.
And then a follow-up email after that to say, hey, you made the right choice, and just to show you have that kind of aftercare, that service which is going beyond taking the money, and you know.
Absolutely, you're always nurturing. You're always, and you're shifting. You know, once you got that sale, then we get into our upsells, and we're shifting the way that we talk to people.
Yeah.
Talk with people. So instead of talking to them like prospects, our relationship has gone to the next level. We've taken it to the next level, baby. Now we're not just kind of courting each other. We're going to go out on some dates. So we want to advocate. We want to support. We want to nurture. We want to help people get the most out of their front end purchase. And in the upsells, we're helping them accelerate the results that we're helping them achieve on that front end purchase. So we want to put things in front of them that help get the most out of that front end purchase and get them to where they want to be faster. So it has to be congruent. It has to be in the realm of your brand and your branding. And again, I want to make sure that you're getting everything that you need in order to be set up for maximum amount of success, not 3 months from now, but as quickly as humanly possible. So you always want to have that accelerated, yes, you're on the right path. Yes, this is exactly where you need to be. Yes, this is how you take your results and put them on steroids. Yes, faster, quicker, more. And you surf that excitement, but you're doing it in a way that is advocating. So what numbers do we need? Well, we need to have all of our upsells converting at least over 20% to keep their place in the upsell funnel. Because if they're not doing that after testing, take it out, put something else in that is going to be more congruent and be able to give people the accelerated results, both in terms of what they believe and what they can actually achieve. So, and then 50% of the battle is making the front end sale. The other 50% is nurturing those sales to get lifetime value and make sure that you're cutting down on refunds and chargebacks, because refunds and chargebacks can ruin your relationship with the traffic platforms, with the merchant map platforms. So you have to keep them down. You have to make sure that you have the best product and that you're making sure you're helping people use that product, like private Facebook groups exclusive for your purchase. Giving them tools for get the most out of whatever it is they've purchased, whether it's a supplement, a financial newsletter, make money online, dating, self-development in terms of like breaking through your scarcity consciousness and making that quantum leap into prosperity or abundance consciousness. You know, we have to give people the tools to nurture them. If you're a coaching program, then demonstrate your ability to coach in every aspect, from your thank you video to your get started video to how you are leading people in the Facebook group that is a part of their purchase. So you're creating community and you're making the product feel much more dynamic, so that I can't go away. I need more. I need more. I need more. Constantly triggering people's dopamine response, that reward and pleasure center. I need more of this. Yes, thank you. I need more of this. Yes, thank you. You want to get stuck in that loop with your audience, with your customers, with your clients, so that you're building your brand, you're getting more lifetime value out of your initial acquisitions. And then obviously, so you got your emails and then your retargeting. So for instance, the checkout page. What's one of the best things that you can do for people who bounce off your checkout page?
Send them a follow-up, find out. Yeah, I mean, if they've made it as far as your checkout page, then they've certainly got some interest in what you're doing. So follow it up. So it might be just be they got distracted. Yeah,
exactly. You got them pixeled, so retarget them on the social media platforms and the search engines. But follow up on email. If you put them through interstitial, an interstitial page where you were able to put an email wall in front of them, you got their email, then get them on a checkout, abandoned cart email sequence. When they purchase, get them on a nurture sequence. When they fill out a quiz, don't just give them results, keep giving them value and put them back on your brand in different ways. Not necessarily the same VSL, but do live video. Nurture your audience, build your audience, become the symbol that your company, your brand, your product, your solution, your services are the go-to solution, the symbol for what you can solve or satisfy. That's how we build brands, not just run campaigns. Anything else to add to the conversation?
I don't think we talked about the guarantee, because my understanding is, that a really strong guarantee can actually bring down your refund rate.
Well,
so I don't know what your experience is, but it seems that
absolutely. In your refund, your guarantee should be, it's like you can do 30 days, you can do 60 days, you can do 1 year, you can do lifetime. But you always want to make sure that you communicate. If this doesn't work for you, you will be refunded your full purchase price. You have absolutely nothing to lose and everything to gain. You have no reason not to move forward. So you take that barrier, that opposition, that objection away from them, so they feel like, okay, well, if I spend this money, I can always get it back. But then you hit them with value. That's why 50% is the sale, 50% is keeping the sale. It's following through on giving them that value, so they are comfortable with the guarantee. They maybe 10% of their decision is based on the fact that there is this amazing guarantee, and now I feel more comfortable in trusting you. But then it's a matter of hitting over the head with value so that they never even consider it.
I've seen a few campaigns lately offering kind of double guarantees, so you get that 60-day money back, plus if you're not convinced beyond 60 days, you'll get like another year or whatever it is completely free. So you're kind of getting more of the product, so you kind of ameliorate for that, if you're still undecided. So clearly those types of guarantees are working well at the moment.
Well, and there's so many different metrics and numbers that we need to have at a certain place for everything to marinate together, so to speak, become one. And it can be confusing, and it definitely takes testing and optimizing, and because there's so many different assets that we can use and test against. So but again, this is why we say never test just one thing. The more you have to test, the more numbers that you can get, the easier it'll be to be like, shut that off, shut that off, shut that off, put more money behind that. Let's optimize this. Let's take that out. Let's replace it with this. I mean, it just becomes so much easier to, in that first week or two, to be able to have that solid foundation to really start scaling. And it's not that difficult, but it takes organization, it takes collaboration, constant communication, tons of initiative, and really caring about nurturing your campaign so that it's not just performing now, but then you start refreshing it and you start testing things against it, so that you don't just rest on your laurels. Ooh, I created a control. You're always trying to beat it and better it. And that's how you have campaigns that stand the test of time. So we appreciate it. If you guys have any questions at all, please comment below or reach out to us on Messenger. Our website is thecopywritingagency.com. And if you would like to work with us, check that out and reach out with any of your questions. All right. Appreciate it, Mike.
Speak soon.
Yep.